Can we also choose to be out of suffering in our mind and in our heart, even if there's scarcity, even if there's uncertainty, even if there's physical abuse or emotional abuse? Can we still try to not be in suffering, or do you feel like there's nothing we can do sometimes?
It's a both and, right? Man's search for meaning.
Yeah.
Basically,
Viktor Frankl, right?
Viktor Frankl, he's in the concentration camps. He tries to have a little notebook in which he writes his scientific research. The book is the proof of his existence. At one point, he loses that little book and he realizes that all trace that he's ever been may forever be gone. And he does develop the notion of logotherapy, right? An idea that that you cannot change your circumstances, but you can change your response to the circumstances. That you still have, until the last moment, fundamental freedom, which is the freedom to the meaning that you give to what is happening to you. And in that sense, no, he can't change his conditions in the concentration camp, but he is able to still maintain a sense of sovereignty and dignity over the human degradation that is happening to him on a minute-by-minute basis.
Yeah.
And I think it's both ends. If you say to the people that are struggling at the borders of Mexico, you have chosen your prison, it's indecent.
Right.
People are not always choosing their suffering. Sometimes within that, they can still sing a song to their child, hold their loved ones, write a letter to someone that they're longing for, staying alive for the ones that are waiting for them. And that's where you are coming out of the prison or out of the suffering, and with a sense of freedom. And I think one has to be really careful sometimes to say we choose our pains, we choose to stay in pain.
Mm-hmm.
It deserves some discernment.
Sure. So suffering and pain is not a choice all the time.
Oh no, I think suffering and pain are part of life.
Yeah.
There's three things that religion has dealt with forever. What is not explainable? Why do we suffer? And why is there evil? And those three things have been the purview of where religion, from an anthropological point of view, really entered. And because of secularization, other people have entered to take the space. People explain to you what is ununderstandable. Mm-hmm. People are trying to help you with your suffering. And experts, gurus, teachers, speakers, and all of that are trying to help you with why do bad things happen to good people.
Mm-hmm. What is the answer to that?
There is no answer to that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had religion from the beginning of time.
Right.
These are not things that are answered. These are things these are questions, existential conundrums that we learn to live with. Nobody has ever had an answer. There's so many religions, not a single one has been able to answer. They give you a way to live with it. They never tell you you're not going to suffer. They tell you what you can do with your suffering.
Right. Have faith.
Have faith, go pray, go do rosaries, go do good things, help other people, change your story. There's lots of ways today that we're dealing with suffering. But nobody has ever said you're not going to suffer.
So we're always going to suffer.
There is always going to be suffering as part of life.
On a scale
yes, you're going to deal with loss.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to deal with thwarted hopes. You're going to deal with disappointments, with heartbreak, with death. Those things, nobody is going to tell you that there will never be loss. And loss is probably one of the most important sources of suffering.
Do you feel like with your experience and wisdom that suffering gets easier for you over time since you know what's going to happen? You know you're going to lose a friend, a pet, a sibling, a loved one. You know you're going to be disappointed. Do you have tools for yourself to suffer less or lesser time amounts, or is it still a deep sense of pain when things happen unexpectedly that are hurtful?
I think that you don't suffer less. You suffer differently.
Okay.
And the most important thing is if you're not alone. Probably the most difficult thing in all our experiences, and certainly in the experience of pain or loss or suffering or ache, is not to be alone. So that somebody else tells you, I too have gone through this. Yeah. That's why we read books that inspire us from other people who have also lost and found their way back and saw the light again, and they created new hope and reconnected with someone and allow themselves to love again and have another child and start another business, whatever it is.
Right.
you know, you go through it, but you have a sense that there is that thing called going through it, and that you can come out of it on the other side, that there is hope, that you're not alone, that there is a day when it won't hurt and ache as much, that there is a day you will be able to wake up and you won't be thinking about
obsessing over it.
obsessing about